In this video, I'm going to walk you through the single activity that has easily 10x'd my productivity as an e-commerce entrepreneur over the last 10 or 12 years. So I'm going to walk you through exactly what that looks like and how you can do it for yourself. But if you don't know me, my name is Will De Bruin. I co-founded an e-commerce business in 2013 with my brother. We started an e-commerce business in cold pressed juice cleansing programs from our kitchen bench. We left our corporate jobs and bootstrapped the entire way. And that business has now gone on to do multiple 7 figures per year. And I've also helped over 200 e-commerce brands hit record revenue months in my paid communities. One is the Ecom Blueprint community, and the other one is called a up-level mastermind program. So what I want to talk you through is something that I do go through with the guys in these communities, and it's about how we can get more out of ourselves. Okay, you might be working full-time. We have some people in the community that's like that, even part-time. You might be stay-at-home mum. You might have other things that you're doing outside of your business, or you might be full-time in your business. You might be working 50, 60, 80 hours sometimes us as entrepreneurs need to do, but wishing that you were more productive or getting more out of your day or your hours. And so this is something that I came across a few years ago, and it's been extremely valuable for me, such so that I actually revisit it every probably quarter or even couple of months, just to make sure that I'm on the right track and I'm getting the most out of my day and my time. And so what I call it is basically a daily tracker. And this is going to sound really kind of simple and even maybe a bit mundane to you, but you can't underestimate it. In fact, the simplicity and ease of it is why it's actually so effective. So when you basically feel yourself, being unproductive, or you feel like you're going through a bit of a phase or a season, or you might have just come back from a holiday, for example, and you're struggling to kind of get into it, you just have that feeling that you're being, unproductive. And so that's kind of a trigger to say, okay, I need to go and do this activity, and I need to see where my time's actually going. And like I said, it's called a daily tracker. So what you basically do, I set up a Excel spreadsheet. Again, keep it really basic, minimize tabs, minimize clicks, minimize anything to get you distracted. And I track my time on a 30-minute basis from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep. And I do this for week 1 and week 2, just to get a bit of an average of where my time is going. You may wish to do it even over a month, but by having at least 2 weeks in there, you get a bit of an average of let's call it a common week, because you might have a couple of days here and there that might be a little bit abnormal, which is totally fine. But you want to get a bit of an average of where things are at. And so what you basically do is, I would say as often as possible, I would say even in the half hour or the hour increments, you track exactly where you spent your time. And by doing so, you're categorizing, I guess, personal and business and anything, how you're living your life, honestly, seeing where your time is actually going. So it might be, I woke up, I did exercise, I had breakfast, I meditated, I got into my work, I checked some emails, I checked some DMs, I did a social post, I created an ad, I had a meeting with my contractor, I packed some orders. So you just want to see exactly what it is. I finished work, I played with the kids, had dinner, put them to bed, right, did some more work. See where your time is actually going, and you're actually really consciously reporting back to, honestly, yourself. It becomes a real accountability tool where you're saying, this is exactly what I did. Now, it's not about cheating yourself. It's just about literally, objectively seeing where your time is going. And so if you do this really honestly and keep yourself accountable and do it as frequently as I mentioned, like at least like every hour, you just want to see where those half hours go, because again, even throughout the day, you will forget where your time goes, and you won't actually have it as accurate as what you think you might by doing it every hour or so, right? So I really encourage you to do it every half hour or hour and say, yep, this is where I spent my time. So as I say, you just want to be really objective, not dishonest, but objective. And if you wasted time on social media scrolling the doom scroll, put that in. If you wasted time on YouTube going down the rabbit hole, put that in. You just want to be really honest. The only person that's going to see it is you, but you need to see where that time went. And so by doing so, you can firstly identify, where's my time going? Is it well spent or is it wasted? Am I going too fast? Am I going too slow? Right? And where can I actually free up some time or get better with my time? The second thing is, it does act as that accountability tool. So I don't know about you, but me personally, if I know I have to go and report something, even though it's to myself, I don't want to put in that I spent half an hour or 60 minutes on YouTube aimlessly scrolling or aimlessly watching or wasting time, unless it was very intentional to do so. Again, you might have in your time schedule that between, 7:30 and 8:30 you're watching Netflix or something. That's fine if that was what your intention is, and there's no need to feel guilty about that. But if it's during the day, during work hours, you had to send out that email, you had to do something else, then that's where you can be honest with yourself and identify identify that's what needs to be improved. So what you do is you do this on a daily basis. And at the end of each week, you want to include the weekends too, if that's applicable to you, because there could be some opportunities there, or you could be unnecessarily working on the weekends. That happens as well. At some points where I'm identifying where my time's going, like, you just feel like you got into a bit of a routine and you're doing 1 or 2 hours on Saturday morning when do you really need to? If you're more productive throughout the week, probably not. I honestly believe, sure, I believe in working hard and doing the extra hours where it's needed, but I also don't believe in unnecessarily pushing a commitment. If you can do it now or today or during the week in business hours, do it then and force yourself to actually do it. Actually time restrict yourself rather than saying, oh, I'll just leave it till the next day or tomorrow. It's just easier for me then. When it's not, because you could spend time with your family, you go surfing, you can do whatever you want in that spare time. You've actually done a lot more work, more intense work in a shorter period of time, therefore being more effective. There's a difference between efficiency and effectiveness. Efficiency means just doing things well, right? Effectiveness means doing the right things and doing them well. Okay, so that's the sort of thing that we actually want to identify within ourselves. And so then at the end of the week, once you've actually accumulated the 7 days, as I say, include the weekends and just see where that time goes, then you want to actually categorize it into personal, business development, personal development. It might be exercise, it might be fulfillment, it might be, customer facing, it might be, ads, etc. Marketing is a really important one to see how much we're actually spending there. And so you can accumulate the time in terms of volume, meaning hours, and then you want to actually calculate a percentage of your overall time, of your overall work week or life week even, not even work week, life week. You want to know what percentage was spent where and where you might need to reproportion. Because often when people go through this, we find a disproportionate amount of time, meaning too low, is spent on important things to drive the business forward, like marketing, right? Like if you're at that 10% or 20% of your time is on marketing, it's like, yeah, I need more sales, you need to be spending like 80% of your time on marketing. Okay, so this is where we need to identify where things need to change and then make the changes accordingly. So this is why this simple activity is so valuable. So incredibly valuable, because we identify it objectively, we're honest with ourselves, and we can say, all right, cool, now that we've got that information, we can actually change things. And so what do? The next week, you go and change it. Change your routine, change things, just knowing that you're actually going to be reporting back, see what actually changes week 1, week 2. And as I say, you can do this ongoing as often as you like until you get into a rhythm of it. So this really simple activity has honestly 10x my productivity. I work, if not as much, right, getting 10x more out of it, or I could just have the opportunity to work less. That's the reality of it. I don't have to work because I know I'm getting so much more done in a shorter period of time. You have the option of working as much but getting 10x more done, or honestly, just working almost 10x less and getting the same amount done. It's a win-win in my opinion. So that's a really simple activity. You can do it. As I say, open up a spreadsheet, calculate the half hour blocks every single day for a week, at least 2 weeks to get that average out, see where the percentage of time actually goes, the volume and percentage of time, and then be able to reallocate it accordingly to where you need to fix things up. As I say, where your priorities lay. If it is, like I mentioned, a sales deficiency, it's like, well, I need to be spending more time marketing. If it's you want to spend more time on your fitness or your personal development or your business development, then reapportion your time accordingly. But just know, right, something has to give. You can't just add. That's not actually the point of this exercise. It's reallocation. In fact, removing unnecessary things where you need to. That's the golden ticket to productivity. Remove things that aren't driving the needle, aren't important. You might have thought are important, but are not. You just do that. You're like, I just do that because I thought that's what I always did. That happens all the time. So I just want to bring this exercise to your attention because it was so valuable for me, and I hope it's going to be valuable for you. Give it a go. Let me know obviously how it goes, because I'd love to hear more success stories. I hear it all the time with people in our community, but I want to hear what it's like from people in this audience as well. So that's just a big hack that's changed honestly my life, certainly my business, that you can go ahead and use. And I hope it was of course valuable for you. So look, if you like this video, if it was valuable, give me a like, give me a subscribe, keep watching my videos. I really just want to provide as much value as I can to ecom entrepreneurs, because it's something that I didn't have at the time when I was coming up the ranks. If you want to know more about what we do and how we help e-commerce entrepreneurs, there's a link below. You can click on that. We can have a chat if it's something that might be interesting to you. But other than that, thanks for making it till the end. Appreciate you being here. Again, hope it was valuable, and I'll catch you in the next video.